So this week in FGGS, I went through the anti-magnets module, and it was really helpful and painful because I saw a lot of my past mistakes staring at me, and reminding me of how incompetent I have been. So attention anti-magnets are patterns that you can kind of fall into by accident that will virtually guarantee that no one buys your game. Yeah, and I've tripped into several of them. Yeah, it's easy to do if you're not being intentional thinking about your game. And any one of them can kind of like sink the appeal of your game right away. And there are a ton of them. There isn't like 30 of them. You know, we've got a handful of anti-magnets, but it is really helpful to know about these things because if you run into one of these anti-magnets, you're not going to sell your game, really. I think that's not overstating it. So, there are more than I can really cover, I think, but in a reasonably sized video. But a lot of them have to do with a really useful concept, which is choosing a comparison parameter that you can surpass. Now, what does that mean? It's essentially choosing. They use the metaphor of a hurdle, okay? And you can kind of set the height of the hurdle, and you want to pick a hurdle that you can over-deliver on. It is well below your ability to deliver on that art style and that genre with those mechanics. Because if you choose a hurdle that's way above your ability, then, well, you make a game that looks amateurish. And that's what amateurish games are. It's not that they are simpler. You know, there are beautiful, simple games out there. It's not that they are necessarily more skilled people make less amateurish games. It has to do with the relationship between what you set out to do, what you promise, and how well you're able to deliver. If you choose a simple art style and over-deliver, it's going to be a whole lot more appealing than a more complex art style that you under-deliver on. And I have a couple of examples that you can go look up. We have, on the right here, we have Decentraland, which is a uniquely amateurish online multiplayer game. And we have Pizza Tower, which they set their bar low. It is a very janky, messy pixel art game. But because they decided we're going to kind of set it down to be like 90s cartoons, and we're just going to lean into that, it's a much more appealing art style, even though it's simpler and required maybe less ability, at least less artistic ability. But it's much more appealing and very successful. So that is certainly something to think about when planning your game is, what am I going to aim for? And is it something that I hope I can actually do, or is it something that I can obviously over-deliver on and make something impressive, even if it's a simpler art style, even if it's abstract, or even if it's kind of a more basic art style. It's better to kind of scope that down and then to be able to be one of the best in that style or in that genre than it is to try to aim really high and, knock over the hurdle, because that's embarrassing. So yes, anti-magnets, extremely helpful. Yeah.